500 likes if it doesn't bother you. Look, I'm all for sleeping wherever you want. I'm not here to decide whether you can sleep in your own bed or on your own sofa. You can even sleep in your best friend's mom's bed while his mom is there. Just make sure you're doing it on behalf of his father, but then you're sinning. So if I'm not here to decide where you can sleep, what am I here for? I want to tell you about Jimmy and his sleeping experience. But what about the poltergeist? What paranormal activity did you come here for? What about all the money you have paid to watch this show? And who said you were paying anything? Jimmy was sleeping in this tank-looking building. Who knows, he could actually be sleeping in an actual water tank. Juju was having his best dreams when the activity started happening around him. Activity like what? Like two couples on their honeymoon in the other room. Activity like a grill moving on its own. A grill? I thought you said this man was in a tank-like house. Well, that's the twist. It's a mess. Anyway, that grill was enough to wake up Jimmy from dreaming about all the money he is never going to make. You know what? Actually, there was a tray sent flying before that grill. And you know what else? I don't even know what these two objects were. I just made an assumption. Let's fast forward through this. The chair went flying, a pot went floating, and the window was being opened by some dark figure. My butt was wide in that moment. The closet changed its position. Look, everything was moving somehow, but Jimmy was still trying to get some sleep. I have never seen a man as stubborn as this dude. How can you actually be able to sleep after experiencing all of that? If this were up to me, I would be waiting till the sun comes out so I can leave this place, but I would still try to get some sleep like him. Have you ever watched the movie Cars and thought to yourself, I have never watched that movie, but if you actually had, and it doesn't matter if you didn't, we will pretend like you did. You thought to yourself in that moment, can cars really become like this one day? Can they actually move, live, and talk like us? Not like writing some nonsense on Twitter and demanding to cancel people. I'm talking about how we like to talk, eat, and breathe. Don't act foolish, you know what I mean. Regardless of whether you have ever thought about it, you most likely have nothing in your life to think about. So in the next video that I'm finally going to talk about, we have a Hispanic dude whose name is Garcia, and believe it or not, that's actually his real name. Garcia works at a dumpster, or what they call a scrapyard. Cool name, right? So Garcia is a simple man trying to have a simple life when one day, while he was on a normal shift, trying to do his job with all tears and sweat, he sweated too much to the point where he got stinky. And what does that have to do with the paranormal activity he witnessed? Well, I will link the junctions in just a second. The smell from Garcia was so bad, it brought one of the cars to life. Yes, folks, I know this sounds unbelievably strange, but you know what they say about the paranormal. It's what gets the debunkers hard. This car is now moving on its own, to a point where it's even haunting this dude.
Aquí un día lluvioso, trabajando. Holy shit. Se me está yendo el carro. ¡Córrele! ¡Córrele! ¡Alcánzalo! 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 ¡Ey! ¡Ey! ¡Espérate! Se me fue, se me fue, se me fue. ¡Alcánzalo! ¡Ey! Holy shit. Vamos a... Buenos días. Aquí estoy sentado. Bueno, voy a ir a quitarle la batería al Audi. Muchas personas me dicen, quítale la batería. A lo mejor eso es lo que está causando el problema. Yo no vi nada, no vi nada. Aquí le vamos a remover la batería. Voy a ir a traer un poco de herramienta para quitársela. Un amigo me dice, tómale video por arriba del motor, por el lado, por enfrente. La historia de este joven o señor murió. Yo creo por eso aquí está encantado el lugar. Como ven, miren, aquí estoy solo. Aquí estoy solo viendo los carros. Ah, cabrón, oigo ruido. ¿Qué pedo aquí? Ah, su chingada madre. ¿Y este güey que me viene siguiendo o qué? Shh, párate, cabrón. ¿A dónde vas? Pues ¿quién chingado viene manejando a este carro o qué? Si nomás tiene tres pinches llantas. ¿Es el pinche rayador o qué? Cabrón. Ya me está dando miedo. ¿Hay alguien ahí? Hello. ¿Quién anda ahí? Hola. ¿Aló? alguien ahí? ¿Hay alguien ahí?
I wonder if the previous owner of this car is watching these videos and thinking to himself, oh mother lover, and I thought it was broken beyond repair. She must be missing me at this point. And who's that ridiculous man who would think like that? I'm not a dog guy. And I don't mean that I'm not a guy in the shape of a dog or some secret hero called Dog Guy, like Batman. I mean that I don't like dogs as pets. I'm not into these creatures enough to have them as pets in my house. So from this introduction, we can understand that I'm about to talk about some dogs here. No, I will be talking about your little brother. Of course it involves a dog. So while his owners were outside the house, enjoying their lives away from this little piece of lice, and by owners, I mean the owners of the dog, not your brother's owners. This dog was trying to escape his leash before the shadow figure came and took him on a ride to the park of death. Maybe I went a little too far, but he was more freaked out than I was the day I saw what happens after you wake up from a dream where you see yourself peeing. Imagine if you didn't have a dog in the first place, you wouldn't have seen this shadow figure. And don't get me wrong, that's a good thing as long as this force isn't hurting anyone and you don't notice it. Every time I see the next video, I get that weird feeling. What feeling? The feeling you have after waking up in the middle of your sleep to use the toilet, when your stomach hurts so badly that even pooping out isn't helping enough. So, is it that bad? Yes, of course it is, because when you get a cold on your stomach, only God knows when it's going to stop. But if you are asking about the video, then the case isn't so different here either. Not so long ago, I came across a guy who lived on what looked like a farm. I wanted to feature him in one of the videos, but when I was halfway through the editing process, I changed my mind and decided to order a burger instead of a pizza, and also canceled this guy along the way. So what I'm saying is that I went to Twitter and started a new hashtag war against this dude. No, I mean, I have excluded him from the list. But why did I do that? Well, I thought he didn't fit my taste. You know, I like them wide and jiggly. I'm talking about the jelly. But then I thought to myself, who am I to judge? It's what people prefer to see, not what I prefer. So here is William, the man who needs to work on his cut reflexes, if you know what I mean. This dude has been encountering scary, terrifying ninja figures in his barn and house. Did I say ninjas? I mean, scary dark djinn-like figures that are so real, you can't even tell the difference between them and a normal human in a dark costume.
What is that noise? Just got home from work and my shed light is on. Sorry, I'm spanning the yard just to make sure nobody else is out here. I spoke to my neighbor after that last video and he said his junior high boys have been pulling pranks on people, so I think it's them. But they don't really have anywhere to go, so I'm gonna bust in here and try and catch them. I don't know what they're doing. Hey! 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 Something is banging around and making noise in one of our sheds. I'm not really sure what to expect. I'm gonna go check it out. The wife just woke up, said she thought someone was playing in our back shed. I hope not, because it's almost falling apart. It wouldn't be very safe, but I'm gonna come out here and have a look around, see if any of the neighborhood kids are messing around or anything. We'll get quiet here for a second.
So his neighbor told him that it could be the neighborhood kids playing some pranks on him. What kind of oversized kid is that? That's a whole man right there. Ed and Lorraine, you hear these names and think to yourself, these must be some cute teenage couple on TikTok who have been making cringe content for the past 3 years and hitting the trending page for absolutely no reason other than the stupidity of this era. But then you're holding a grudge against some people in that case, and you will also be wrong. Cause Ed and Lorraine, or as they will be called during the next documentary, the Warrens, that's what I think the narrator said. That's what he said. How corny. So these 67,000-year-old dinosaurs are what the scientists call demonologists. And I'm the one who thought that only humans need a psychologist. It turned out that demons are also dealing with stress and depression. That's what I thought a demonologist was until I found out what it actually meant. It means some people have been obsessed with the jinn's world to the point where they collect all demonic-related objects to the point where they call themselves experts when dealing with the other side and the paranormal. Even an investigator has given his testimony on those two, saying that they saved lots of lives. This investigator's name is Tony Tony Spra, according to the narrator. The Warrens have dealt with over 6,000 cases in their journey. On paper, this number is great in every way. But by logic, these numbers mean these people have lived since the 900s. How could they find all these cases to deal with? And how haven't they become rich if that's the case? They even have a basement full of haunted items, which, if you mock, you will pay. You will not pay the Warrens to look at them and mock them. You will pay for your mockery, like losing your life. Also, at the end of the documentary, we have a case to watch as an example to see how they work on solving it.
It's weird tonight, honey.
Meet Ed and Lorraine Warren, 67-year-old great-grandparents. For the past 45 years, despite the sneers of non-believers, they've fought an enemy as old as time, evil itself. They have fought demons and devils and black magic. For want of a better word, they are ghostbusters. And over the years, thousands of people with haunted lives, people who are frightened, have called on them for help.
I feel it's a duty, something that we were meant to do, and we do it. You know, a police officer don't like to go into a home where there's a madman with a gun, but he does it because it's his duty. I feel this is our duty.
I'd say they affected thousands of people's lives. Hundreds and hundreds since I've been involved with them.
Ed says he grew up in a haunted house. To quiet his fears, he began investigating the occult, and he's been at it ever since. Ed is a religious demonologist, fighting spirits and demons with faith.
In the name of Jesus Christ, the saints, and all the angels, I command you to reveal your identity now.
While Ed relies on his knowledge and experience of the occult, Lorraine uses her psychic powers. Since the age of 9, she's been extra sensitive to messages from the spirit world.
The energy level in here is very high. Really, really high. This makes me have a headache in here.
The Warrens are Roman Catholic, but have worked with ministers, rabbis, and monks in dealing with hauntings. Ghosts and demons transcend the boundaries of faith.
Every religion is based on a supernatural world. How many people look up at that sky and pray to a God? It may not be the same name that we all use, but we're praying to the same God. And that is a supernatural God. So if there's a God, there's the other side of the coin. There's something else here.
In their lectures and books, the Warrens distinguish between good spirits, who are merely trapped in this world, and evil spirits, like poltergeists, bent on harm.
I've been punched, thrown across rooms. I've been slashed. I've had burn marks appear on my body, thrown downstairs. These are just a few of the things that I've experienced.
It was poltergeist activity the Warrens confronted in one of their more famous cases, the Amityville Horror.
There are homes that we go into, we tell the people, lock the door, leave the place. It isn't even worth it for an exorcist to go in there. These are gateways to hell itself.
From homes where they've worked, the Warrens have gathered items that at one time or another have taken on a life of their own. In the basement of their home, these items are held for safekeeping.
If you were to touch these, it would be the opposite of touching a holy relic. That's why we have the signs around here, danger, do not touch. But we've had people who've come down here, they've actually picked up items, and then that very night, we've had to go to their homes because things were happening to them.
Sometimes horrible things. This doll, possessed by an evil spirit, was brought here and locked away in a glass case.
A young man came here, felt it was nothing but a joke, started knocking on the glass, saying if this thing could perform any kind of evil act, to do it. 3 hours later, the young man was dead. He came here on a motorcycle with his girlfriend. She said they were laughing about the doll when they left. She was paralyzed in a hospital for over a year. We've got a woman who has been punched in the head. Her hair has been pulled viciously.
At home in Connecticut, the Warrens get calls all the time. This was a call from Knoxville, Tennessee.
Okay, so we're dealing with something here which is very negative. This is not Casper the ghost.
And so it was off to Knoxville, where two single mothers lived together with their children. Ed would interview the women, Lorraine would tap into the house with her extra sense, and they would know immediately that something was amiss.
What was the next thing that happened to you that you would consider unnatural?
The air conditioner vents keep closing, and I was sitting here one day and they kept closing, and I said, I wish you would just stop it. And something hit me on the top of my head really hard. Hard.
Like something hit you?
Yeah, like somebody went bam.
The Warrens investigate. They soon discover the women have been dabbling in the occult, and that only made things worse.
You open doors. The Ouija board, the tarot cards, these psychics that you spoke to, all of these things were a way of opening doors. Where there's a spirit like that, and then people open doors, anything can come in.
Ed and Lorraine know this from a lifetime of experience, over 6,000 cases.
I can feel the cold air on my legs.
I feel it right around my shins and like that.
To understand what kind of force they're dealing with, Ed asks Amy to call forth the spirit in their home.
We'd like to see you. Can you come and show us where you are?
Ed recognizes the spirit. It's one he knows how to get rid of.
He is so sad.
He is what?
He's so sad.
Yeah. You're picking his thoughts up and feelings.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people think, well, when you walk into a house, these people are complaining of ghosts. You're going to see them flitting all over the place. That's not the way it's done. What we experienced here is about average for when we go into a home. When the priest comes in here and blesses the house and the family, it will either disappear or it'll increase.
Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
The Warrens call in a priest, not for a full exorcism, but for a simpler procedure, a blessing. The Warrens' work was done. Except for travel expenses, they don't charge for their consultations. Their livelihood comes from books and lectures. Their real compensation comes from helping people who are afraid. Together, they've been battling the supernatural for all their adult lives.
How do you stop? Even if you wanted to stop, it's like a famous heart surgeon. When does he do his last patient? There's somebody calling him saying, you are the one to save me. He's going to turn him away. That's what Mr. Warren does. He gets that phone call, or Mrs. Warren, they're not going to hang up on him. They can't retire. They have to just keep on going.
No more growling sounds, no more banging.
No more nothing.
No more nothing.
No.
Oh, Teresa.
For Ed and Lorraine, this is their profession.
It's peaceful. I'm happy for you girls.
This is their calling.
Yeah, thank you, but...
Oh, you're welcome, dear.
So Eddie uses his faith to deal with the haunting cases, which, to me, makes sense, using prayers and such. But Lorraine uses her psychic powers. I mean, her psychic powers. Sorry to say this, but I have never heard of that being used to expel a demon. It looks like she is a second leg on the team who is trying to be helpful, which is completely the opposite of you, who's watching this video but not trying to help the channel by subscribing and watching the next video on their screen.